Hey everybody, this is Positive Benzo Withdrawal and my 16-month update. So today I have a few things that are on my mind that I want to talk about. I've been stalling on making this video because I've consistently been in windows and waves, and not much has really changed in the last while. And I didn't really feel like I had anything to update y'all on since my last video. I did have a long window and then another long wave and some windows and waves kind of back and forth through there. So my pattern has been consistently windows and waves. And where I did have about a month-long window, I was excited and I thought maybe the next wave would be short, and ended up being about 3.5 weeks. And then I had another window that lasted about a week, and then I went back into a wave that was about 4 days, and then back in a window. So I'm in a window right now, but I have been kind of cycling back and forth. So I was having a hard time. One of the symptoms in the wave this last time was a lot of chemical depression and then just hopelessness, because honestly, I've been doing this now for like 31 months from the time I started the Klonopin crossover, or no, actually even before then when I did the failed cold turkey. It's been about 31 months, so I am tired, and some of my hope is not as vibrant as it was in the beginning during the taper when I was like, I can do this, I can do this. I really was like pushing myself to be positive, and making the videos was a really like great way for me to continue to do that. But then as I noticed that things weren't really changing that much, I got a little bit down about it. I would have loved to have been healed already. I would have loved to have been just like that's a chapter that's behind me and I'm off in my life again and I came back to me again. And so every time that hasn't happened, I'm a little bit sadder. And, you know, when I'm in a window, I feel like myself and I feel that I want to go out and like conquer the world. And so it's been hard when then I go back into a wave. It's been pretty devastating on me and traumatic in a lot of ways. So if you're experiencing that, I'm with you. I know it's so hard having windows and waves. I know there's some people who've never had a window, and that's not been my experience, so I can't comment on that. But I just know that it's hard being in this windows and waves scenario. So some of the things that I've learned, 16 months out, I've learned to not think every window is going to be my forever window. So I think for a while there was like, okay, it's supposed to end one day. Maybe this is it. This is my window of like victory. And I've decided that I'm not going to do that anymore, because what ends up happening is this like roller coaster, because I'll start, the first few days or the first week of a window, I'm like kind of cautious, and then I'll start to like ramp up and do more things until finally I bust. So I do too many things and I crash. And sometimes those things are really minor, like being online, like on my website, working on my website, or, seeing too many clients, or, something that I would think would be really minor given my old self. I would be up till like all hours of the morning, like working on my website and writing, and I'd be running around and working out, taking dance classes. So now when I just do like only the website, for like an hour or two, I don't think of it as a lot, but actually it is a lot for my body because I'm so sensitive. So I'm learning how to really pace myself. And now when I'm in a window, I'm almost treating it like I'm still in a wave. So when I'm in a wave, the things that I do every day are pretty minimal. And my wave symptoms can be anywhere from being in bed and having to lay in bed for like 1 2 days, maybe 1 to 4 days or something where I'm just like everything is in the bed. I literally even take my clients, like I'll be sitting in my bed and all they see is like the wall behind me, and they don't necessarily know that I'm not feeling well, but I'm feeling horrible. And that's like the only thing I could do that day is just see the client. So, it's anywhere, the wave is anywhere from that to being like more able-bodied where I can get in my car and like drive to the store. And even though it's like hard to see and hard to think and I'm like super symptomatic, I can at least do that. But I still have to take like so much care with myself, like lots of downtime and lots of rest. So what I'm doing now is in the window is trying to do almost like the same schedule. So I'm not going like this, because that has been really ruinous on my energy in terms of like my spiritual energy. It's almost like bipolar where I get so much energy and I'm like, yeah, and then I crash. The only thing that's not bipolar about it is that I don't have bipolar disorder and I'm not like hypomanic or manic. I just have like normal people energy and then crash energy. So that in this last wave has caused me to really wonder if I have chronic fatigue syndrome. So all the things that I've been going through in this last wave, I'll tell you, extreme health anxiety to the point of ruminating like on it all the time, like looping on it, like what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? Thinking I have chronic fatigue syndrome, thinking I have mast cell activation syndrome, fibromyalgia, even though I don't really have a lot of physical pain. I just thought, well, maybe I have that now. I think the big one is the chronic fatigue, because this last wave was like severe. I've had like 3 major fatigue waves in the last, 31 months that have lasted like, a month to 2 months. And this last one was so intense. I thought there's just no way like this can be benzo withdrawal anymore. And I'll, go online. Maybe some of you see me on the groups and I'm like, does anybody else have this? Does anybody else have that? Because it's the health anxiety, because we really don't know what could be going on with us. And it's so hard to think like, oh, this is just withdrawal. It's so hard for me to think that. I don't know about you. And then mast cell activation syndrome, because of the like histamine response that I've been having, like really intense head pressure. I have a little bit right now, but really bad. It can get really bad in the back of my head, just head pressure, almost feeling like my brain is swollen and inflamed because it just feels like all weird inside my head. My nose gets flared up, all my sinuses, behind my eyes, in my eyes. And it's not just like a mythical feeling. It's like an actual thing that's happening. Like I went to the doctor yesterday. She stuck a thing up my nose, a little light up my nose. She's like, yep, there's some swelling in there and redness. And it's like, yeah, that's what it feels like in my eyes. And she's like, yep, your eyes are red. So I do think I just have a lot of like activation in my face. And I can even feel it now, postnasal drip, and it comes from like my surroundings, so dust and dander, now I'm feeling it because I'm talking about it, dust and dander and dust mites and cat hair, and it comes from food, and it's like really been this big symptom. When it first starts coming on in the wave, I'll also get this kind of like chemical depression. It's like this whole thing will like take over and press me down, and then fatigue is like drying me down. And that's been hard. So my last wave, I started getting all that, and I just could not stop crying and just feeling so sick. And it's just like bawling and crying to my partner and crying to my friends, and just the most awful feeling in the world. And then you're like, what is wrong with me? So I woke up, November 26th was my partner's birthday. I literally woke up that morning in a window, and I'd been having this like 3-week long wave, having no idea how I was going to get through my partner's birthday. I literally woke up, I call it a birthday miracle. I woke up that morning and I was like, ta-dam, or Shazam. I'm back. And literally was like able to make a cake and get balloons and decorate the house. And we had a really nice, like, 4 days, and then started having a little wave again. And now I'm back in a window, and it's my birthday coming up less than a week from now. So I'm like, please let me stay in this window for my birthday and for Christmas. I don't plan on doing anything. I'm lucky because I don't have like a gazillion family members around. It's just my little family, and so it's going to be really mellow. And one thing that I don't do is like big social gatherings, because I just don't feel like I have the spoons for it in this healing. I do love people, and I love social gatherings, and I love parties, and that was part of my old persona. But like I said, I've learned through all this to pace myself. And that is just really, 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 really huge for me. It was a huge learning curve. It's taken me this long, honestly, to learn how to actually pace myself. Like, not just say it, but actually do it. Like, I exercise very infrequently now, you know, which part of my mind is like, that's unhealthy, because I've always been an exercise advocate. And even now, you know, my exercise fatigue can be so bad, like really, really bad, that now I'm like exercising, you know, just a couple times a week, and maybe 3 times a week. And that's just for a walk, you know, 2 miles, maybe 4-mile walk, and that's it. So I'm no longer thinking like I could do cardio or even do Pilates, like none of that. That's all been eliminated, because I'm just really trying to like pace myself and maybe do more like this in the windows and waves, less like this in the windows and waves. And we'll see. I don't know. So the symptoms that I've been having are pretty much what I just said. The fatigue, not having it so bad right now, but the fatigue, the malaise, just feeling sick, like cold and flu symptoms, like just totally gross. The histamine stuff, and the exercise fatigue. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting is that when I'll go on the groups and I'll hear people talking about their taper and some symptoms they're having in their taper, I can say, yeah, that's not happening for me anymore, and like it'll get better. So there's a way in which I can like look to some people and be like, you know, it's going to change. I'm over here now and you're over here, and where I am is like healed in a lot of ways, and like, don't worry, you can make it. So I can definitely offer people support. And then there's people that are farther along than me that, you know, kind of unfortunately I don't really know many of them. I know people either right where I am or a little bit behind. I think that maybe that's good, that there's people who have just like left and they're not around anymore. I was able to find like 4 people over this last long wave, because I was like digging and needing to like, please, somebody tell me that you've healed. And they're like, yeah, I'm healed. I'm 100% better. And it's almost like I'm in a state of disbelief. I'm not going to lie. But like, that's really hard for me to believe that somebody ever graduates from this, because I've been doing it for so long. And it's almost just now like a part of my identity. I mean, everybody knows this about me. Like, I'm just like this girl who like had some damage and I haven't healed yet. So supposedly, though, there's people ahead of me. I say this is chapter 2. Chapter 1 was the taper and all of that stuff. Chapter 2 is now this post-acute withdrawal syndrome that I'm in. I guess chapter 3, I don't know what that is, but I suppose there's people that are in that, and then there's like the finale, like people who just like never come back again. You know, will I want to come back after? Sometimes I think, hell no. Like, as soon as I am healed, I'm like, bye-bye, like chapter behind me. I have thought that a lot, but actually recently I've been feeling like, you know, this is so hard and there's so many suffering people that maybe I will stick around. At least I'll stick around enough to talk to people, you know, on kind of like a part-time basis. And whether or not I go into some kind of a coaching thing to help people through it, I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I will. I'm not sure. But we'll see. I have to actually get a lot more healed than I am, which brings me to the last thing I wanted to say, which is to do with percentages. I see a lot of people writing like I was at 99% healed and then I had a setback, or I'm 75% healed, or I'm almost there, I'm 80% healed. And personally, I cannot do that because I've had moments like today where I could say, okay, if I rated my percentage today, maybe I'd say 75% healed. Then when I'm in a wave, I might be like 25% healed. So there's no way that I can judge how healed I am because I honestly do not know. Unless I like opened up my body and looked with some special like little, scientist glasses at all the little parts of my body. Just be like, okay, that part's healed and that part hasn't healed, and then did some kind of percentage. I have no way of knowing. I could literally be sitting here 20% healed because my journey might have just only been 20% and I have 80% longer to go. I could be sitting here like 95% healed. I don't know. So I don't really like that, and I kind of don't subscribe to that myself. So I think that is all. I want to say that, I call this channel Positive Benzo Withdrawal because I really try, and that's my personality, is to be really positive, and I've been struggling, you guys. And so what I really want to say, this is like human benzo withdrawal, and humans are made up of a lot of different emotions. One of them is happiness. One of them is sadness. In this, I've had a lot of grief. And so I will continue to try to be positive for everybody. And if you reach out to me, I definitely want to send you like warm hugs and cuddles and like cool memes. And, especially if you're having like a lot of stuff in the taper, I can tell you, how I did mine and how I've gotten better. I've healed from the taper. I'm like, haven't been on anything in 16 months. So that's something. But where I sit today, I have a lot of sadness and grief around where I'm at. So I laugh. I can watch TV. I watch a lot of Key and Peele these days. I went from listening to a bunch of Joe Dispenza in the taper to like now watching Key and Peele because I so need every day, like I need to watch a little Key and Peele. I need the jokes. I can laugh. I can listen to music. I can watch TV. Like my personality and who I am is me. I'm here. Like my baseline improved to like, I'm here. I'm back. When I'm in a bad wave, I'm like that like twisted, yucky part of me, but I got back a lot of my faculties. I can still, in a wave, I can still sit and watch TV for the most part. Sometimes I'm like, whoa, that's too much stimulation and I have to go in the other room. So, even like the Great British Baking Show, there was a couple of times where I was like, too much. But for the most part, I can sit and like hang out. And on Thanksgiving, my partner and I watched The Joker. We watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and The Lighthouse. Those are all three really intense movies. We had like special access to the movies to watch at home. It's a side story. But dude, those movies were intense. And I was able to do it. And I was like, nah, it ain't so bad. So yeah, things have changed. Reach out if you have any questions. Know that I am not a medical doctor and I have only my own experience. So I might write you back and say, I have no idea, honey. All I know is what I've done. I think that the groups can be really great and you can find some great, answers. Also, Benzo Buddies is good. The main thing is to find a small group of people like your tribe that you can cry to, you can moan to. I have friends now like all over the world because of this, and find your tribe and stick with them. That's my main advice. Like find your buddies or find a buddy and stick with that person through this whole journey. Okay, so lots of love to everybody. Remember, we're on a healing journey, and one day, supposedly, this will all be but a memory. Lots of love, happy holidays, and I will see you in the next video, or I'll see you in the groups. Okay. Lots of love.